Hello, welcome back to Election Time News, where it's our political summations, poll reviews, nonpartisan predictions, interviews, and compilations on political forecasters. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025, and today I'm going to be going over the 2025 Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So this is going to be between Susan Crawford and Brad Schimmel. So first off, in the official Supreme Court elections, they are officially nonpartisan, but of course, in this partisan world, there's going to be alignments, and so because of that, Susan Crawford is generally more liberal aligned, and Brad Schimmel is seen as more conservatively aligned. So they are seen as the Democrat and the Republican in this race. But due to that, I am using non-blue and red colors to show that they are officially nonpartisan. So the interesting thing about this is, in the state of Wisconsin, it doesn't seem to be too big of an impact based on from year to year. Here, 2015 was a very strong blue year for the Wisconsinite Supreme Court, as Bradley won with almost 70% of the vote. Then you go to 2016, you have a strong conservative show out here. Interesting thing about Wisconsin is that mostly in the Supreme Court elections, you're going to see more of the older coalitions. You're going to see this region of the exurban working class voting for the liberal candidates, and then you're actually going to see less support in the urban regions. As you can see right here, Kloppenberg got less than 70% of the vote in Milwaukee, which generally runs very Democratic. And then you can move to 2017, uncontested, so there was nothing really to do there. 2018, you then have the Democratic aligning candidate winning by 11 points here, 11 and a half, with some support more of the rural regions as well. This is going to be way more democratically aligned than the elections this year. This is going to be in 2018. This was a blue wave year, so this would explain the strong show-out on the Democratic midterms. 2019 was generally more stagnant and equivalent. This is going to be more along the lines of what we're going to be seeing this year, especially with a 0.5 margin here. And the conservatively aligned Brian Hagedorn did win. So then we had, this was when the alignment of the court shifted to conservative aligned. And so then we have some narrow numbers here. Of course, this is probably going to be somewhat along the line of the map this year. This is my current map. That's supposed to be likely. With, Schimmel performing very well in quite a few of these deep rural regions. You have the working class chunk over here that's going to be a bit more towards Crawford, and then the urban cores. Now, that just means that's over 10. It would probably be less than 25 points or so. But as far as it's concerned in general, a half-point margin is probably along the lines of what we're going to be seeing this year. Looking to 2020, then we actually had a win by the liberal-aligned judge, which then did flip the alignment again. And then, of course, moving on to 2023, another win by the liberal-aligned This flipped the control towards the liberal majority, and then now we are back to 2025, where we have most likely going to be a slightly Republican-aligned election, as it is the Republican boom. This happened in 2021. Unfortunately, there was no election here, but this happened in 2021 across the country for the Democrats. After Joe Biden's win, it generally happens after a victory by that party. That's also why we're seeing impressive voter registration numbers by Republicans across the country, even in deep blue states like New Jersey and California, and especially in swing states such as Pennsylvania, Democrats' voting registration surplus is almost entirely gone there. So based on those, we have what would be a Schimmel advantage. It, of course, is an open seat again, as Bradley is retiring. So this is the most expensive judicial election in United States history. So there's quite a bit going on here. There's not much polling. There are only a few here, but the only reason that I am putting this in Tilt Crawford column is because all of these are Republican aligned polls, and not a single one this month has Schimmel in the lead. On Message has them tied with 600 likely voters. But then every single one other than that, now they're all within the margin of error. So, especially with 14% undecided voters in this Tyson group poll. But they're all within the margin of error, as Crawford's support could be 43 and Schimmel 43, which means that this one they could be tied, and depends on how the undecided voters break. And then also Susan Crawford 44, Schimmel 47. So it's still absolutely up in the air, but once you start getting multiple polls that start showing the same thing. Also, this one was on Message, only 5% undecided, but it's plus or minus 4. So unless one of them gets a lot of these undecided voters, it's still absolutely basically anyone's race at this point as to who could end up winning this seat. So it is toss-up, but if anything, it would be Crawford's advantage. I'm going to make one last video on this on March 31st to make a prediction for who will actually win this. Now, make sure to like the video if you're interested in this sort of stuff, and subscribe, as I will be continuing to make election content throughout the season. I'm going to be continuing to work on the Virginia House of Delegates and the governorships in New Jersey and Virginia. There's no such thing as a dull time in politics. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a fabulous rest of your day.